Tonight, I have ham conversations going on with my sister. Okay. It's the day before Easter, so.
Yes, Easter, a holiday that I do not celebrate. But hey, go zombie Jesus.
Hey, what else we call it? Ham day. Okay.
You good?
I'm good.
Hello, Lauren. Welcome once again to Editing Academy. I'm Darryl.
I'm Laura.
We're going to do a new series, which is we're going to go through the AFI's top 100.
Yes, we are.
And the one we're going to do today, we've done a lot of them already, either as they were nominated for something or as one-offs.
Yep, or as one of our favorites.
Correct. This one we're going to do is Ben Hur. So Ben Hur came out in 1959, directed by William Wyler, produced by Sam Zibelist, and starring Charlton Heston as the title character. It was a remake, I did not know this, of the 1925 silent film with a similar title. It was adapted from Lew Wallace's 1880 novel Ben Hur, A Tale of the Christ. It was nominated for 12 Academy Awards, won 11 of them. As of 2025, only Titanic in 98 and Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King in 2004 have matched for 11 wins.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes. The only category that Ben Hur did not win for was Best Adapted Screenplay, which lost to Room at the Top, which I've never seen.
I have not.
So it was nominated for that, plus Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor in a Leading Role, Best Actor in a Supporting Role, Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, Best Costume Design, Best Film Editing, Best Sound Recording, Best Music, Scoring of a Dramatic or Comedy Picture, and Best Special Effects. And many of these categories were for the color category, because they were still doing black and white and color.
In 59, interesting. Yep. Okay.
All right, do you want to start with this one?
Well, I have a couple of things.
Oh, yeah.
So I have the summary, which is a Jewish prince is betrayed and sent into slavery by a Roman friend in 1st century Jerusalem. But it is not long before he regains his freedom and comes back for revenge. Yeah.
Sure.
Sounds good. And then I have also, I've lost it, but I had a couple of fun facts.
Okay.
One of which actually is about that 1925 movie. So in the 1925 silent movie, over 100 horses died.
Oh my God.
in the scene, and so they obviously did not want a repeat of that. So
Sure.
they hired Yakima Knolt, who was called basically like the stuntman back in the day. And he came out. He was called the King of the Stuntmen. He came out and co-directed the chariot race. And there's urban legend that one stuntman died during that race, but he did not. It was actually Knoll's son who was injured, but was fine, and no horses were injured.
Good. All right.
So
good for
there
them.
you go. And also, it took 9 months to shoot the movie, and 3 of those were the chariot race.
Wow.
That's huge.
Yeah, and the chariot race was very well done.
It was.
I will give it props for that.
Okay.
I'm going to come out hard and heavy with this movie. Don't like it. Second time I've seen it.
Okay.
Didn't like it the first time. Didn't like it this time. And I know exactly why. For older films, it has to be something that is so incredibly engaging because the acting style bothers me.
It's very different. You have to understand that was the style people.
Correct, and I do.
At the time, yeah.
It just doesn't mean I have to like it.
This is true. All right, so I'm going to come out hot and heavy. This is the first time I've ever seen it.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it.
All right, good for you.
I will say I'm an idiot because I expected something very different. When I saw this movie or when I heard about this movie, didn't know about the subtitle. You know, what was it? Ben Hur and something about Jesus.
Yeah, Ben Hur. Hold on. Tale of the Christ.
Tale of the Christ. Yeah, never heard that part of it. I had no idea this was a religious epic. I thought that this was going to be like a gladiator type movie with lots of action, and it was like charity racing through the whole movie. So the fact that it had so much other stuff going on was a pleasant surprise for me, and I really enjoyed it.
I will say, having said that I don't like the movie because of the acting, the story itself, I think, is a very compelling story. This is an old-style epic.
It is. It is a religious epic.
Yep, and I like those. I like those. For me, it's just the acting gets such in the way of the story that it's hard for me to engage with the story. Particularly Charlton Heston. He embodies that old school style of acting where everything is big and I'm going to present myself.
Yes.
And that works in Planet of the Apes.
It's Broadway acting in a theater, in a movie.
Correct.
And that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
I do agree with you. I thought that so I found the movie very entertaining.
Mhm.
I found that there were a couple of odd directing choices.
Sure.
And probably they go along with your performance choices. So I thought the bigger scenes were great.
Yeah.
And I thought the smaller scenes were not as good. And probably because the acting was the same
Yeah.
in both. But for instance, two of the scenes where one of them is when Charlton Heston and his Roman friend are having a really intense, dramatic conversation. The camera is entirely on the Roman, and you cannot see. They don't do back and forth.
No
They don't do
cutaways.
no cutaways, no peripheral. It is just you're seeing the back of Charlton Heston's head to the degree that I'm like, is it Charlton Heston?
Yeah.
Is it his stand-in? And I think it really was him. But why wouldn't we want to see the emotion or something happening on his face? And the same thing was when he went into his home after being away and being a slave. He comes into his home and like touches the symbol on the wall, and he's entirely covered in a robe. You can't see. You see the slump of the shoulders, but you don't see his face.
Yep.
And I thought that was very odd choices to not show facial expressions in these smaller scenes.
I agree with you absolutely that the movie when it's big in its scale. I mean, this is why the phrase thousands, the cast of thousands, came to be, because there are scenes where there are literally thousands of people in the shot, and those moments are grand and glorious and exactly epic, like you want. But it is the quieter moments. It is where people are trying to have conversations and convey things to them. Think of the early scene where his friend that he had embraced earlier, they have a conversation where basically the Roman is like, you have to be with me, if not I'm going to take you down. It is so wooden.
Yes,
that even though it's a very important moment because it sets up the rest of the film, even though that's an important moment, it takes me out of it because the acting is so wooden that I don't care what they're saying.
Yeah, I hand waved over a lot of that just because of the times.
Yep.
So yeah, but if you can't get past that, then it's very hard to enjoy the movie. I would agree with that. I think perhaps part of it for me was the fact that it was not at all what I expected to be. When it started with, the wise men going to Bethlehem, I'm like, what the hell? What am I in on? And so I had no idea that it was about, in this Easter season, that it was all about that.
And I will say that the writing of it, again, the story, the way they're able to weave his story into the backdrop of what was happening during the time was amazingly, incredibly well done. Again, it's just the acting. I couldn't get past it.
I did like the choice of never see's Jesus' face.
Yeah.
I thought that was
even the Sermon on the Mount or whatever it was.
Yep, everything was from the back. Even when he gave him the water when he was thirsty, you never really saw his face. And I obviously that was an obvious choice, but I thought it was a very good choice.
One of the problems again, and it was a stylized thing at the time.
Yeah.
You think of the scene where Christ is carrying the cross up the steps and he stumbles.
Yes.
And the crowd is like, somebody help him, and Charlton Heston's character, Ben Hur, does try to come out and help him, and he's pushed back. And they keep cutting to people that we know who are in the crowd. And they're over angsty. Yeah, exactly. It's almost like silent film, like I need to convey everything so big and dramatically. And I was like, nah. I'm sorry. This is a big, important moment, historical moment, maybe, and y'all are ruining it.
And that is entirely fair. That is entirely fair. For me, I was just like, 50s, and just kind of, again, let my hand wave over it. But I was impressed by the amount of territory it covered.
Yeah.
It started with, it is a
great.
small family story, family drama. And then it takes this man from an affluent life to, he's a slave in a ship, and then a huge naval battle, which I thought was a really well conducted, and then the search for his family and the race and Jesus, and that's a lot to cover.
Yeah.
And for a 4-hour movie, I never felt like it was 4 hours.
I did.
Okay.
But you're right. It has like the Odyssey or the Iliad kind of feel. It is such a large, epic story that is being told. And again, for the story itself, it's an incredible story that I think they executed very, very well. if I ever watch this film again, I was like about an hour and a half into it when it popped into my head, and I was like, if I ever have to watch this again, I'm going to pretend it was directed by Mel Brooks.
Oh, there you go.
Because it will make this so much more fun. If I treat this as comedy, then I'll be so much happier.
All right, so what you do is you think of it as young Ben Hur.
Yeah.
And then you turn off the color and put on black and white, and you're good to go. You've got something there. I like it.
Which is, it does surprise me, but it also kind of doesn't, because one of my favorite films of all time is Casablanca. And the acting in that...
It's so over the top there, too.
It is.
Yeah.
But for that moment and what they were doing, it's not as wooden. There is depth and emotion there. So even though the acting is big and over the top, it is not it's not the same as a lot of some of the movies that were coming out in like the 50s did have. So that, and I know that's totally a me thing. I have to get over it, and I can understand why they would put it on the list of 100 greatest films of all time, because of the story that they're actually telling, and that they were able to pull off that such a complex and big story.
Exactly, and I do think we need a minute just to devote to the chariot race.
Sure.
Because the fact that they had that number of stuntmen, that number of horses, and it cut back and forth very well from the long shots to what was happening, kind of at the axles and the wheels and the legs, to the men. The editing, I thought, was really impressive.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that's a strength of the film, is the editing for the action sequences in particular. You do get a really good sense of action.
Yes.
It's not as stylized, obviously, when it's just two people having a conversation, even though they do make, as you pointed out, some interesting directorial choices.
Just odd, exactly. It's like they knew how to do the big scenes, but not the little scenes.
Yeah, and I wonder if, I don't know the director, I don't know what else he had done before, but I wonder if that was his strength. You know how like sometimes action, the stunt coordinators, the action coordinators will then go on to direct a movie later on, but their strength is the action sequence and not necessarily the more intimate moments between people.
Exactly. I think it's William Wyler, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he everything. Roman Holiday.
Oh, okay.
Best Years of Our Lives.
I like Roman
Funny
Holiday.
Girl. Yeah, he had done a ton of things. So, yeah, William Wyler was one of the best directors out there of this time.
And a lot of those are intimate ones.
Friendly Persuasion. Let's see.
Detective Story. Best Years of Our Lives.
Mrs. Miniver. Little Foxes.
These are all.
Yeah, no, he is spectacular.
Okay.
And he won 3 Oscars for Ben Hur, for The Collector, and then the Irving G. Thalberg.
Okay.
A Thalberg Award.
Yeah. So, I think if you haven't seen this, it is definitely worth your time. Don't do it on a Tuesday night like I did, because I didn't know it was 4 hours. And I just was like, all right, I'm going to start. Oh my God, it's 4 hours. So I did like 2 sittings.
Yep. Yeah, well, and it luckily has an intermission.
Yes, it has an intermission. And also the longest prelude ever in the history of movies. It was 7.5 minutes long of just a single shot while the entire score plays.
Have you ever seen, oh my God, what is it? Peter O'Toole.
My Favorite Year?
No. The one that he is famous for, the Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, yeah.
That has the same length of an interlude, except for it's a black screen with only the score.
Wow.
And it was a thing at the time.
No, I'm not talking the interlude, the intermission.
No, the beginning.
Yeah.
No, the same. Yeah, I said the wrong word, but the same thing. The movie has not started yet, and it is a black screen with just the score of Lawrence of Arabia. So it was a thing at the time.
Wow. Okay. But I don't remember that from Lawrence of Arabia, but okay, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think they cut it for TV.
That would make sense.
And I wonder if they cut this for TV. But yes, I might have fast forward because I'm not going to listen to this for 8 minutes.
No, I thought it was going to be 60 seconds, a minute and a half, and I was like, interesting choice to start. Why is it still going? Why is it still going?
I have no idea. Yeah.
An interesting choice.
I had forgotten that, but yeah, that's a strange choice.
The point is, if you have not seen it, I do think it is worth your time to actually go through and see the story being told, because the story itself is worth it. The movie is worth it for the story.
Yes. Yep, and just know that it's got some very melodramatic acting.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd give it a thumbs up, but
Thumbs up here.
I get taken out of it.
Nope.
All right, let us know what you think. Is Darryl right? I think so. See ya.
Or is Laura?
Uh...
That's just sad.